Still, there is not equal enough female scientists in the position. The more talents were attracted to this company. They knew that this company is really great place to work. Bring feeling of belonging. That people, you can hire 10 female.
And welcome to Think Pod, a podcast for people who wants to make a difference. I'm Cansu Pylkkänen, and I will be your host for today's episode. Today we are talking about diversity and inclusion with Svetlana Sharifulina, a neuroscientist, a diversity, equity and inclusion advisor, and the CEO and the co-founder of Ailobe Health, an innovative mental health company that offers AI-based recommendation plans for long-term well-being. Svetlana is joining us today to provide her perspective and expertise on promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion in a workplace from a founder's point of view. Hopefully, our conversation will inspire and empower our audience, spark meaningful discussions, and encourage positive change. Welcome, Svetlana, to Think Pod.
Thank you for inviting me. That's my pleasure to be here today.
Would you like to tell us about something about yourself?
I'm neuroscientist, as you said. I got my PhD in neuroscience 6 years ago, and since then I've been working as a postdoc in University of Helsinki. I've been working in the medical faculty of medicine and then in neuroscience center. And for 1 year, I already a full-time entrepreneur in my own company that I founded last year, Ailobe Health.
Busy life. So tell us about your journey into diversity and inclusion. Why is it and why is it at the core of your mission as a neuroscientist and an entrepreneur?
So actually my journey to become diversity and inclusion advocate became in 2018 when I joined the network for female scientists that promote women in life science here in Helsinki. So it was based in Viki campus, and then together with the Biomedicum campus, it's becoming like more network for female women scientists in the whole city. And I met there Dr. Blanca Fernandez Lopez. She was one of the board members, and she invited me also to become the part of this network. And together with her, we've been like really interested. Why still, even in Finland, that is like at the top of this equality issues. Here the gap is like less than in other countries. Still, there is like not equal enough female scientists in the position. What is the basis of that? And of course, as a neuroscientist, we went deeply into the research, and we've been interested into diversity and inclusion into perspective from this, like our prejudice and biases, the neuroscientific basis of it. Why do we have that? Why do we behave like that? Why, when someone invites for the teaching position, for instance, female from Asia, and in CV it's written that it's female, that her chances is low, but if it's written that it's like, for instance, mathematics position for mathematics and it's Asian, then it's higher. So all these things, we started to dive in deeper. We took some courses and training, and actually by that time it was not even easy to get education in this topic. So you could find some courses like on the online platforms, but some people went to UK or Germany to be educated in a way. So for us it took about like year and a half. Not only went through the courses that exist, but also to create our own let's say, neuroscientific courses that explains the basis of our prejudice. And also we just started to make the workshops and seminars. First, yes, it started like more for women in life science. We made the webinar for University of Helsinki, for instance, but then it became more like general, not only for the academia. I've been invited for companies to provide some trainings just about basis of diversity and inclusion, what's the belonging this term means. And of course, I tried not only explain the basis, but also the neuroscientific things like some research to dive deeper, to show the graphs, let's say, the data, why it's important also in businesses, in startups, in big corporations. So yeah, and actually even I started my own company related to the health tech. I still make some workshops, free workshops with the colleagues to promote diversity and inclusion principles. Yeah.
I feel like you are one of the reasons the future might look bright in sense of diversity in Finland, because people know that they have prejudices, but when you prove those with scientific results, now that takes it to next level. I think people understand better with such backup, like of the statement.
Yeah, that's 100% true. For instance, very simple thing that we like show from the start, and actually it's been shown by the researchers, that even when people go through the test to identify their biases and they becoming aware of some biases that they have, like that been implicit and now they're explicit, and if people do nothing, no any education, no any action, actually their biases are becoming worse. Mm-hmm. So if people found out, for instance, if they have biases toward race, so their behavior, their racist behavior becoming worse actually.
Moving on from that, as an experienced neuroscientist and an entrepreneur, could you share your perspective on the unique advantages that diverse leadership team offer in driving innovation and business successes beyond conventional norms and borders?
This is really great question because as I started the company, of course, question of the leadership becoming very important, even more important when you in academia, I think, because you lead now the company that could become like, working place for 100,000 of people. So I started to dive deeper into the leadership and what is like the main key points of good leadership. First of all, it's communication. And of course, it's impossible to be a great leader, to have these great communication skills if you do not apply diversity and inclusion principles. Diversity has been shown actually with the research and with practices that been involved in the companies that it's improved problem solving, for instance. And basically it makes sense when you have a team of diverse experts, they use different strategies to solve different problems. Also, what is good, if you go to global market, you have different special experts who can help you to reach these different markets. Asia or US, we all have different mentality. It helps a lot. And also, the broader market brings this expertise from the diverse team that your customers, basically, the audience could be so diverse, and if you have only one strategy to implement, I don't think that it would be successful. But even besides, like my opinion, why nowadays this someone called this hype about diversity and inclusion, especially in entrepreneurship world, because actually the same research showed that people who started to implement diversity and inclusion principles, they had 20% increase of revenue, and it's data. And actually, when I made the workshops with the leaders of the companies, I used to say, if you have 12 people in your board, and all of them are white male, that means that you pay 12 salaries for one opinion. But if you have diverse team, then you have 12 opinions. Makes sense? So this type of examples usually works, and this is one of the great advantages of diverse team, that problem solving really brings benefits to the company. And of course, the important thing is inclusion and belonging. So it's not enough just to hire people, and then say, look at the numbers. I have 50 male, 50 female, or something like that. The more important, of course, to bring practices that bring feeling of belonging. That people, you can hire 10 female, developers, but still treat them like they're male developers, and you are not celebrating their differences. It's not only about gender, it's about ethnicity and cultural background, etc. So yeah, this is one of the important things in business as well.
Indeed. Drawing from your experiences, what key strategies or initiatives have you found effective in fostering an inclusive workplace culture that empowers individuals from diverse backgrounds? As you were just saying, that even if a company or hires 10 female developers, they are not really heard. What do you think about that?
So yes, first of all, it's of course inclusive hiring process. And I'm so glad to see just in a few years how even the University of Helsinki, where I've been working and I've been really active in our network, you see how they change this, even the ads about the open positions, that you use inclusive language. And it's also important to use inclusive language at your workplace. There are so many free materials on the internet, some courses that anyone could take. Actually, this is not that difficult, but it's really need time to be educated in a way. What is one of very effective also thing and important to implement, it's called employee resource group. That means that people with the same interest or identity, they can have this safe place at their workplace. They can discuss their challenges, where they can share any initiative or, come up even with the event, like cultural exchange activity or something. What is important for the leaders is to make some surveys. They could be without any names, like anonymous, but make surveys, talk to your employees. During my advisory experience, I really noticed that many leaders, they're so busy, of course, bringing their company to success, to grow numbers that they can show to investors, so on and so forth, that they simply don't know even what the minor groups are there in their company, what are their needs. And sometimes they just we are fine with our diversity. We have people from 60 countries and whatever, but that's it. So some people think that this is enough and you don't need to do anything else. And even with the training, so it could be one webinar and one survey, and that's it. But unfortunately, it's not how it works. So very important to have this employee resource group. Very important to bring education to your team. And I may say that it's crucial and important to do it from the start. So before you even register legally your company, make your diversity, inclusion, belonging statement. Hire people who will also follow this company culture, educate, and also give the access to the education as well, to the training. And diversity and inclusion topics, it's actually not something that you can learn and then forget about that. It's ongoing learning. I'm myself, really every month, sometimes twice per month, I participate in some workshop, discussion, because many things you learn from the experience. I go through the research that appears in, for instance, PubMed. This is database for the scientific research, to understand how the world changed, how we should adopt our behavior and our company or our team in according to these changes. So principles of diversity inclusion will be not just words but actions.
Very good points. And I'm getting a sense that the people who are in the leadership position in companies, they forget what it means to be a leader by ignoring the employees. Don't you think, like, when you are talking about how important a company culture is, but then you don't really invest time in hearing your employees, making sure they are happy working at your company, creating, as you said, events, some kind of practices together, keeping the team spirit alive is what makes a company successful, not just getting clients. And of course it's important to have the financial support to maintain the team that you have, but the team spirit is so crucial. And I cannot agree more with everything that you said.
Especially when the people are not feel safe. So basically they can still come to work, but they will be in survival mode. That means that all the hormones, all how their brain actually works, they are like really suppress their creativity. They are not productive 100% because they are not feeling safe. They are not feeling happy. They don't think that their opinion is valued. So why should I just I will come to the meeting, sit, and then get my salary. So I'm really happy to see that so many leaders now, it doesn't matter academia or entrepreneurship ecosystem, they do understand how it's important, and more they are trying to put money into this traineeship and workshops and efforts and their time, and that's really great. We see these changes.
As a leader at Ailobe Health, how do you envision businesses actively contributing to creating a healthier society through their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Thank you for this question. So actually, the main idea behind our startup is to create the platform that use scientifically proven data to improve overall well-being, preventing mental health diseases, and improving brain health itself. And when we just started, the team of neuroscientists in our company had some experience in business. So of course we started with the market validation, and we started to talk to our potential customers. We identified the key problems that they had in their company, so how we could help them, how the neuroscience, let's say, could help them to solve these problems and make their workplace better place for the employees. And one of the aspects actually was the employee diversity and inclusion training, education, workshop. And now we start piloting, for instance, with our platform that also provide these type of services. So the companies could go through the training. They can use the test to identify employees, like their implicit biases. It's anonymous, but they know that they could go through the training workshops, get the information, assessment. And for the leaders, it's important because they have their analytics also about what's going on in their company. So our activity also of our company is very close related to this topic as well. Well, of course, because it's something that I have passion about. So it's impossible basically to talk about well-being at the workplace, academia, businesses, companies, enterprises without talking about diversity and inclusion principles. I noticed that many companies, like really, they do not have diversity and inclusion statement. They try to implement some hiring practices, inclusive hiring practices. They do some activities, but the very beginning, the basis, they don't have it. So sometimes I'm just like helping them, and I'm really happy to help. Maybe some advices, some resources, some books to read, or maybe some workshops to attend. Maybe we could attend together. So yeah, this is something that I would like to promote. It doesn't matter if I'm doing my career in academia or I'm doing my career in startup world. Yeah.
Do you think, based on your experience, the big scale companies goes through these issues of employee mental health issues, or do you think any scale of a business can go through the same exact mental issues that you can help with?
This is really good question because, of course, different companies, they have, from one hand, different pain points. But from another hand, we still, like the employee, it's like human nature. It's still our brain health and mental health. It's like now, according to the latest report, like each second person will face during their lifetime any mental health issues. And basically, it's obvious because like physical health, during your lifetime, most probably someone will face some problems with the physical health. Why we should talk about mental health in a different way? And there are still a lot of stigma on that. But the thing is that it doesn't matter if it's like small company, big enterprise, and whatever industry is, still people need the same thing. So they need to feel safe, they need to get some care providers from the leader. So if we talk about the mental health, so preventive tool, there are plenty, but they have to be implemented. It doesn't matter what the industry, for instance, and the size of the company. And what I've seen now that big companies, they are trying now to be more open to these new innovations, new tools, new AI tools, but it's more difficult for them, maybe because they are like that big and they already have their own systems. And even though they may realize that it's not working properly, but attempts like they do, and most of them like really open to take these chances. So I'm curious, and I'm looking through the big companies, not only here in Finland, but all over the world, how they are like doing. And it's nice to see that they're opening positions specifically for well-being manager, diversity and inclusion managers. So, and I'm pretty sure that they are not doing this just for like, reputation or some imaging like thing. So it's like really they do care. With the small companies, it's actually much better. Maybe because they just started their journey and they already know where to move, what the direction and vector they should choose just from the start to do right thing. So they read books, they go through the training, and so far when I talk to other CEOs and founders, most of them agree that, of course, it's crucial from the start to have this clear understanding of diversity inclusion principles, how to promote different tools to prevent mental health issue. Because when you build a team like, let's say, 10 people, these 10 people will hire next 20 people and next 50 people. So this is like the core. And it's really great to see. So during our market validation and interviewing companies, I was really happy to see that people are really open. They do understand why it's important, and they are like moving forward in this direction.
Isn't it incredible if the company culture is very open? They actually maybe become open in time. It's not going to happen in a night. But when you share your struggles within a company, you actually realize that you're not alone in those struggles. And then the struggles that you go through might end up being feeling like you're in a community within the company. So these open conversations with each other, of course, some things should be anonymously said, but when you are willing to share your experiences, you actually might even save lives.
That's true. That's extremely important, as we said, with this sense of belonging. When you feel safe, that you can be open. And I think that it should be aimed for each company, regardless small or big, to make this workplace so safe that people could be open about their sexual orientation, about their gender identity, whatever, so they could feel that they belong.
I feel like we are going towards an era that mindfulness, well-being is getting more and more emphasis on our lives, but it really does feel difficult to put those ideas into practice. It feels like, and I think you are one of the key factors that might actually help them implement those ideologies. So all sounds amazing. On that note, could you elaborate on specific instances where you witnessed the transformative impact of diversity and inclusion efforts in teams on individuals' professional growth and the overall success of entrepreneurial ventures?
Yes, so I could tell you that one example of the company that basically has 3 male leaders. And when I ask the CEO of the company, it's actually very common exercise for the diversity inclusion training. You can find the YouTube video with the detailed instructions, but briefly, it's like you have the table and then you write the columns like on the sex, like gender, education, country of origin, so on and so forth, and then your board members, and then you check. And then basically you see that your board members like just your twins. So, and there was like the time when we started to work in the direction, what steps to do. So it was like really easy, to analyze the transformation because there was so much lack of diversity in this sense. And with hiring practices, with the training and the education, I may say that the growth was also not in a sense of the revenue, but also in a sense of the reputation, that the more talents were attracted to this company. They knew that this company is really great place to work. People try to find opportunities to be interviewed and get job there, just because they know that through time this company built this safe workplace when everyone is heard, and diversity and inclusion is not just the word but actions.
Congratulations on them, and thanks to you. Our final topic to discuss, as we explore the intersection of leadership, entrepreneurship, and DEI organizational framework. What advice would you give to aspiring leaders and entrepreneurs who are eager to nurture the diversity and inclusion mindset within their ventures?
So for the leaders, I would say the first very beginning, it's education. And it should be small steps from the start, because while leaders are building the company or even running the huge enterprise, they're busy. But with the consistency, these efforts will really bring a lot of benefits. Education and constant learning, build inclusive culture in their workplace, and be open to the feedback from their employees, trying to listen and to communicate with different groups of the employees inside their companies. I think this is like the most crucial thing. Yeah.
Yes, it's so easy to ignore the problems and act that nothing is wrong when it's a benefit for your company to actually listen and deal with everything to move forward. It's been a very fruitful discussion, and I want to thank you, Svetlana, for joining us today. It was really great to hear your thoughts and expertise on the topic. If you enjoyed our conversation with Svetlana, hit that subscribe button and leave us a review, comment. Don't hesitate to check out Ailobe Health at www.ailobehealth.com. It will be linked down below. Become a member of the Think Company and find out about our events and workshops at the link down below. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.